In the heart of a thick, lush jungle, where the sunlight trickled through the leafy canopy and danced upon the ground, there lived a mighty lion named Raja. Raja was no ordinary lion. He was the king of the jungle. His golden mane gleamed like rays of the sun, and his roar echoed with such power that it could silence every creature within miles. He was big, strong, and proud, so proud that he often dismissed the smaller creatures of the jungle without a second thought. One sunny afternoon, when the world was quiet and lazy, Raja decided to take a nap beneath his favorite baobab tree. The tree's thick shade and the gentle rustling of its leaves promised the perfect spot for a restful slumber. Raja stretched his immense body, yawned so widely that a little sparrow perched on a nearby branch almost lost its balance in fright and closed his eyes, falling into a deep, peaceful sleep. Nearby, a tiny mouse named Nibbles scurried about, searching for crumbs and seeds to carry back to his burrow. Nibbles was small, even by mouse standards, but he was quick, clever, and always curious. As he scurried through the underbrush, chasing a particularly shiny nut, he didn't notice Raja sleeping close by. Before he knew it, his tiny paws had led him straight onto the king's very tail. "Oops," Nibbles squeaked, freezing in horror. He looked down and realized the twig he had just run across was no twig, it was the lion's thick, tufted tail. His little heart thumped like a drum as he tried to scurry away quietly. But it was too late. Raja's amber eyes snapped open and his ears twitched. Before Nibbles could escape, the huge lion rolled over, pinning the little mouse beneath one heavy paw. Nibbles squirmed frantically, his whiskers quivering in fear. "How dare you disturb my rest?" Raja roared. His breath was hot, and his voice was as thunderous as the jungle storms. Nibbles squeaked, "Oh, mighty king, please spare my life. It was an accident. I didn't mean to wake you, I promise." The lion narrowed his eyes, considering the trembling creature beneath his paw. "A mouse," he snorted. "What can you possibly offer me as a reason to let you go? You're so small, so insignificant. What good are you to me?" Nibbles swallowed hard and said, "Though I am small, Your Majesty, that doesn't mean I can't be of service to you someday. Please, show me mercy, and I will never forget your kindness." Raja threw back his head and laughed, the sound startling the jungle birds into flight. "You? Help me? How ridiculous." But as the laugh died down, something stirred within Raja. Perhaps it was the mouse's courage, or perhaps it was simply that the lion had eaten a satisfying meal earlier that day and wasn't particularly hungry. With a shrug of his massive shoulders, he lifted his paw and let the mouse go. "Run along, little one," he said with a smirk. "Consider your life a gift from the king, but don't let me catch you bothering me again." Nibbles bowed quickly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. You are most generous. I will not forget this, truly." And with that, the mouse dashed off, disappearing into the underbrush. Days turned into weeks, and Raja forgot all about the little mouse. But life in the jungle had a way of surprising even the mightiest of its inhabitants. One day, as Raja prowled through the jungle in search of a fresh meal, he wandered into a part of the forest he didn't usually visit. The trees were taller here, the shadows deeper, and the air eerily silent. Lost in his thoughts, he didn't notice the hunter's trap, a large, sturdy net cunningly hidden under leaves and vines. Before Raja could take another step, the ground gave way beneath him, and the net sprang up with a sudden snap. It wrapped around him, lifting him off the ground and trapping him in midair. "Raw!" Raja bellowed, thrashing against the ropes. His claws lashed out, his powerful muscles strained, but the more he struggled, the tighter the net seemed to grip him. The mighty king of the jungle was caught, helpless and furious. Out of breath and defeated, Raja stopped struggling, his tail drooping in despair. He let out a low, mournful growl. "Who would dare trap the king?" he muttered bitterly. "I will not be taken down so easily." As the forest echoed with his roars, a familiar squeak caught his ears. "Your Majesty, is that you?" It was Nibbles, poking his tiny head out of the bushes. Raja's ears flattened in embarrassment. "Yes, it's me, Mouse, but as you can see, I don't have time for small talk. Leave before the hunters return." But Nibbles didn't budge. His sharp little eyes studied the net, and then, with a determined twitch of his nose, he said, "I told you I would repay your kindness one day, Your Majesty. Now let me help." Raja sighed heavily. "And how do you plan to do that?" This net is made for creatures 10 times your size. You're only a mouse." Nibbles didn't reply. Instead, Nibbles scampered up the tree that held the net in place, his claws gripping the bark tightly. As the lion watched with both amusement and doubt, the little mouse began to chew, gnawing at the thick ropes with his sharp, tiny teeth. "You'll never succeed," Raja grumbled, but Nibbles ignored him, working diligently. His teeth nipped and tugged, and slowly, strand by strand, the ropes began to weaken.